I want to recommend very highly COILIB to every youth out there who has an idea that they want to bring on board. This is a place where you'll be incubated, so to say. You, irrespective of how rugged you feel your idea is, you come to this place and we will continuously work on you to make sure that the idea that you have is refined and at least you become the person.
COILIB Incuba. Innovate, invest, incubate.
COILIB for my business has really been a point of growth because I've seen my business move from one point to another. And with COILIB, you get to understand the business aspect of it and how to make money.
COILIB Incuba. Innovate, invest, incubate.
We hustle.
We go through.
Access granted.
We win.
We lose.
Access denied. Access denied. Access denied.
In everything, we dust ourselves.
We are the majority.
You want to tell me just what we're dealing with here?
If you haven't guessed by now, I'll tell you who we are.
It's me. Hi.
We are the empowered youth.
Underground.
And this is our podcast, the EUI Podcast.
Let the speakers boom. Go.
Thank you for staying with me with the youth and leadership. The discussion starts right now, and my guests are here with me on studio. But first, I'll introduce them. I'm here with Mr. Alvin Okal. Thank you for making time. Mr. Alvin Okal, the former Congress Engineering, former Secretary General, Ligaton University's Engineering Student Association, and a class rep. I'm here with Bwana Collins Kipkoech. Thank you for making time also. And Mr. Collins Kipkoech is a class rep, a Secretary General, Egerton VetMed Students Association, and Organizing Secretary, One Health Club. And finally, Mr. Simon Deritu, thank you for also making time. Mr. Simon Deritu, who has served as a Congress person, who is also the chair of Egerton VetMed Student Association. And on this, I'll start with Mr. Alvin Okal, close to me here. You are here, let me say, a student representative. You are aspiring to be a leader. What is your driving force towards being a leader?
My driving force towards being a leader is passion. Yes, I've been passionate about student leadership and being at the top of guiding students. I have done it before, and I am still in the mood of doing it.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Kipkoech.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. The reason why I'm aspiring to be the Secretary General Egerton University Students Association in this election is because most of the things that I've gotten to see and gotten to be nurtured by is that when we have a good leadership, there's nothing that goes wrong. And especially the good leadership is brought about by people who think outside the box, who think and get to understand and comes into decisions that are according to the members of the organization. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, give us your take, Mr.
And thank you very much, Mr. Barozi. So the reason why I'm aspiring to be a Secretary General is because I'm passionate about leadership and more so passionate about transforming the lives of young people. Also, it has been my line for quite some time, and that is usually my route. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Gentlemen, you are aspiring to be the next Secretary General of Egerton University Students Association. By this, there are duties and delegations. So what, in your own perspectives and as per the Constitution, what are these primary responsibilities of a Secretary General? And probably you are also students. How do you plan to balance the student council work and the academic work?
You'd allow me to start. So when it comes to matters education and matters of leadership, I believe for those who are wise enough, it can be easily juggled together. And when it comes to me personally, I think what I can do to that is get to create time as well, and also being a student leader, especially on the role of the Secretary General, we get to understand that I will be the student lawyer in layman's language, or you can say I will be the student's spokesperson, and creating a channel between the students and the organization and also the administration. And this is brought about by when you get to interact well with your students, and also for me to manage my time well, it would be easy for me to create time that is really measurable to, for example, on weekends, you can as well get to address to the students and also get to focus on matters academics during the weekdays that are really important as well. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Alvin Okal, there are these primary responsibilities that you have to do. And regarding the fact that you are in the former Egerton University Students Association, probably in the current weeks we had insecurity problems around the institution. As an aspiring Secretary General, how did you address this with the former regime, and how do you plan to proceed with the plans that were put in place?
Now, thank you. Just to touch on the previous question before I go into this one, you need to appreciate, first of all, that the balance between leadership and your academic work is all driven by self-discipline. You need to know where the lines are. So I believe for me, I need to know what to prioritize. And at the end of the day, it's always about self-discipline. Now, I've been in the previous council, as has been said, but not in the SGC. I have performed the role of Congress Faculty of Engineering and Technology. And speaking of insecurity, I have stayed in Taton for now. This is my 4th year, and that is the place that has faced this insecurity issue. I feel as a leader, it is good to understand the needs of people. There have been measures that have been put in place. Say, for example, one of the gates has been locked. Lights have been, the lighting has been improved, especially in the night. And I want to say that I'm among the people who reported who reported the issue. I was at that place with the chief security the other week on Friday. He was there to see the situation. The chief estates officer, we were there with Mr. Kobia, and they've been there to see that situation. But now, I want to appreciate that something has been done, but then the feedback mechanism. I will not go into what the comrades they are saying about the situation at the moment, but I think I intend to improve the feedback mechanism. Once you have given your resolutions as a leader, then what feedback do the people give to your decisions? Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Simon Deritu, Mr. Alvin Okal here has stipulated how he would maybe, let me say, put in place the measures to castigate what had taken place previously. And being in the former regime, he has also stated clearly that maybe he was in a different level and the SGC was on a different level in which you are now aspiring. And this begs my question, how will you coordinate basically the activities of the SGC and other organs of the association?
So thank you very much for the question. I think the first thing you do when you are in a leadership organ that is divided into 2 or 3 more parts, the most important thing to start with is ensure that there is enough team building, so that you ensure that all the organs or all the levels of the administration know each other and understand each other. Secondly, in terms of the coordination, I would ensure that we have regular meetings with various organs of the administration, and we give them a listening ear. We be open for a discussion and arrive at a conclusion together. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Nderitu, do you believe you performed in your previous regime?
Yes, I believed.
You believe?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Collins Kirui, can you basically explain to us the approach in which you are going to use to maintain the correspondence between your critics and your government? Because we know there is this notion that once we assume office, we don't listen to anyone and we are above the law.
Okay, that's really a good question, Mr. Balozi. And I do understand that once people get to assume office, they tend to have this kind of, we can say, pride or something of the sort, of which that's not something good as a good leader. And how I would address this kind of situation, I'm not trying to throw blames, but I am a class rep, right? And from the previous regime, we were really requesting to be committed together to have a meeting with our various fellow SGC to get to address the issues that are needed, but not even one meeting that we attended. Okay, maybe there was no time, but my thought is it would be really good enough to kind of create a good time with the class reps. Let us also use them because they are representative of the whole school, and so we are the people who get to understand them, and also when we create a meeting with them, they get to air out their views, we get to understand what's going on within the area, and also come up with solutions to mitigate the problems. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Akal, we have the concerns of the class reps, and as a class rep personally, and as a former Congress, we have the public outcry that the previous regime was omitting meetings with the class reps. And now that you are a class rep, and you are a former Congress, how do you plan to see to that this issue is controlled?
Thank you. If you go to Article 16 of the EUSA Constitution, there is a piece there that is usually omitted most of the time. It is the EUSA Annual General Meeting, and as per the Constitution, it is one point where the SGC, the Congresses, and the class reps are supposed to meet the whole university. Again, the same Constitution gives the EUSA class reps assembly. So I will implement those two pieces of those 2 pieces of the law in ensuring a close relationship with the rest of the student body.
So do you mean the former SecGen maybe failed?
I wouldn't say that. In my view, he did his part. So I would only improve on what he did.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Simon, you have your big 5 agendas. and basically they have been rolled out. And maybe will you just take us through some 1 or 2 or 3?
So thank you very much. One of my agenda is closely tied to the responsibility of Secretary General, and it is enhancing proper communication, because I think communication is key. And even when we look at the current problem we are having in Kenya, also with the current government, it is being brought about by lack of proper communication. You find such that the organ up there is planning for something, but then the way they are delivering the information to the members of the society has a problem, and that is why we get major problems and outcries. So I would ensure that there is proper communication that is trickling down from the administration to the students. Yeah.
Okay, and just hold on. On your manifesto, you have number 4. On the 5th, the big 5 agendas, you have the number 4 being improved campus infrastructure. You were there in the previous regime. What didn't you do the other time, and how are you? Which infrastructures are these you're talking about, first of all?
First and foremost, as we talk today, we have some faculties or programs that have problems with infrastructure. One of them being the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, where there is an increased number of intake of students, but the infrastructure is not yet matching up to the number. And I have also had outcries from other faculties as well, who do not have some of the equipments to perform experiments. I would like to state that in most of the undergraduate programs, it is not many programs that are able to run the practicals, the undergraduate practicals. Only some very few faculties. Therefore, I feel that this is a world-class university, and you need to improve on some of these. And also maybe the current situation of the current portal, and that I feel that it is something that need to be tackled with immediate effect. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kiru, you've talked about the links and the coordination of activities between the SGC and the class reps. You are now, let us assume you're assuming this docket. You are in that seat. How are you going to contain this, and how are you going to ensure that you bring all stakeholders, all class reps, and all SGC and the Congress on board in that spot?
Okay. I believe after every, let's say, handing over or everything that has taken place after the election of the EUSA, there's usually a formation of a new group that within the new regime. And that is where most of the communication takes place most of the time. And that would be really a good platform to come up with it as well. And social media is really something you can embrace. And another thing you can get to bring about the communication between the class reps and the SGC as well is to get to involve them in most of the activities. Like as for me, I am a person who likes academics so much. I really embrace academics. And when you get to put into idea the fact that academics is brought into situation, that's the first thing that has brought us into the institution. And there are some situations like coming up with ideas or innovations. We have a group known as Enactors Kenya. These are innovative group that brings about people together. And when these are brought about, when class reps are brought into the situation or organization together, they can get also to communicate with the rest of the students, bringing about major commitments and also bringing about something good that is really benefiting to the whole institution as well, and also to individually. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Perhaps, do you have a specific situation, a scenario, or these challenges that face the class reps that you personally will address?
Yeah, I do have a number. I think when you get to see in the group most of the things that are being communicated in the group, at times they are the leaders, or let me just say the SGC tend to be way more like repulsive to the class reps. And I think the reason is what we've talked about, not having the regular meetings that are needed, and also to get into coordination with that. And that is really a big issue between the SGC and the class reps, because this is not like a different organization. It's majorly just one thing that is broken down into many parts, and also each person has its own representation somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Alvin Okal, we have these student-led activities, the clubs and associations within the institution. And many a times students have taken part into them, and probably in one way or another you will hear one or two of them probably say we lack funds, we lack one thing. And as a SecGen, as per the constitution, you are a signatory of the EUSA body. How will you see to it that you put efforts and chip at least something of the funds to the student-led organizations?
No, thank you. Other than having an aspiration of being the SecGen, I want to appreciate that I have served as a Secretary General in one of these associations, that is Egerton Engineering Student Association, and finances were one of the challenges we faced. Now, as stated in Article 30 of the EUSA Constitution, one of the roles of the Secretary General is to be a signatory of that account. But as a student of mathematics, I have not been to an economy class, but the EUSA usually has a fixed budget, which is 400 shilling per student per academic year, and that if you multiply by the around 15,000 students that we have in this university, that gives you a fixed amount of around 6.2 million. Look at 6.2 million, bringing it down, scaling it down into a budget. Do you think you can bring it down to each and every faculty or each and every association that we have in the university? I think that would be a little impossible. So getting money from the EUSA kitty or the EUSA vote head and scaling it down to the association would be hard for now. I will not tell you that I will champion for increasing this amount. I will never. But I would wish that these associations get projects that would now be self-funding. For example, we have an association for agriculture students, that is FASA, Faculty of Agriculture Student Association. I would advocate for them to be allocated a farm, for example, where they would be able to do their farming and get something for their accounts. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Okal, before you pass it to Mr. Simon, you're saying that trickling the funds down from the main office, the EUSA office, down to the organizations is slightly impossible. So this fund that the students mobilize and put into the EUSA, what do they do then? How do they work?
Usually, as per Article 16 of the EUSA Constitution, the SGC is supposed to sit down at the beginning of their tenure and then draw a budget which shall then be used to spend these funds. I will not go down into a breakthrough of the finances because I have never sat in such a meeting, but they're used to implement, what that same law says. So if given time, I will give what I know, that a few aspects that I know are usually done with these finances.
Okay, Mr. Nderitu, we are having students maybe who are basically involved in malpractices, or in one way or another, they are found facing the headwinds with the disciplinary committees. So how should the students know that you are there for them, or how do you do this?
Okay, thank you very much. I want to say that when it comes to the issues of the disciplinary committee, I know that as a Secretary General, I will be sitting in the disciplinary committee. And I think we always say, I'm a vet, so I know there's something we usually say that prevention is better than cure. So the very first thing to curb these malpractices is to make the students know, to sensitize the students, to read about the handbook that contains the rules and regulations of the university, and to try their level best to follow these laws. But again, as a Secretary General and as an advocate of the comrades, I would always try my level best to make sure that these comrades do not suffer so much. So I would be there for them. Thank you.
Okay, my question is, how will you be there for them during the disciplinary action? Will you be favoritism in the regards that this candidate did not support me and so I can't be there for him? Or what is can you take us through the steps?
Thank you very much. One thing I want to say is that politics has got no permanent enemies. And therefore, immediately we are done with the elections on 20th, all of us will be students of Egerton University. And there will be nothing like this one supported me, this community did this was not part of it. So I will be there for everyone. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Collins, how will you ensure the security and integrity of the association account as a signatory?
Okay. Let me just first start by saying I haven't been into EUSA, but if at all there will be something that should be introduced, is the auditing. Because if auditing really gets to understand or get to criticize how this budget was spent, as long as it was spent according to how it was organized by the meetings, by the SGC, as earlier said by my friend here, Okal, as well. So auditing will make everything straightforward, and at least it will open everything to the public that there's nothing that has been done wrong under the SGC. And that's the reason why I would like to boost something called clarity and also openness to the public, that is to the Egerton students. Yeah.
Okay, in the kitty, and given the current economic pressure, you as a SecGen, as a sitting SecGen, we're assuming you get the office, how would you advocate for better financial support or scholarships for Egerton students?
Yeah, thank you so much. As for me, I think I'm a person who knows how to source for funds. It's not just about to brag, but recently I was doing a project from the United Kingdom that was funded under the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine as well, since I'm a student of veterinary medicine. And I think my main agenda actually as well is to bring students into this thinking, to make students have this innovative mind, not just them sitting and staying in class. At least they should have something to think about, something to generate sources of income from them. And my thought on this was that why won't I come up with a plan or a committee that gets to source for funds based on the faculty level that you are in. For example, when you're in the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, you know where to source for funds from. If you're in the Faculty of Engineering, you know the stuff about robotics and also all those commodities and innovative minds and also technology, AI and everything. And I think committees like that in every faculty will bring about matters that addresses the issue, and definitely it will bring these students funds and grants as well.
Yeah, talking on technology, with the increasing role of technology in governance now, how would you leverage digital tools to enhance student engagement and let me say, accountability?
Okay. I don't think it's really hard to do that based on the current everything. What I'd like to advise my fellow students is that whatever you're typing in social media or anything as well, just be cautious on your own. Be wise enough. Like if you're doing these things on your own.
My question was, how will you leverage the digital tools, not the advice to the students?
Okay. Oh, sorry for that. How would I leverage the digital tools to address the issues? I think it should be done is that the students should be informed as well that the negativity or the impacts on the situations based on the digital equipments and on the matters of digital and technology as well, there is the advantages and the disadvantages. On the advantages part is that you can get to source for a lot of things from the digital part, and when we create this committee to bring about addressing the issues to the students, it can really boost on the same.
Okay, Mr. Alvin Okal, regarding the fact that you have served in the current, you're serving in the current EUSA, we know that conflict is inevitable in leadership roles. How will you handle a situation where a student feels like you, individually, you are not doing your work and you're not addressing their, let me say, their problems effectively?
Okay, thank you. Now, publicizing EUSA or making EUSA and the roles of EUSA known to the rest of the university body is one of the functions of the Secretary General. And in my tenure, if I get there, I would wish to develop a feedback mechanism such that when we do something or when we provide a particular service to student, or when we have an intention of providing a particular service, I will devise a mechanism by which we will be able to get the feedback of the students or of the comrades to get to know how they feel about that particular scenario. Giving an example, EUSA at the moment has no social media accounts. But if I get that opportunity, I will begin by getting EUSA social media accounts. That is X, IG, Facebook, and any other that will be reasonable for this. Then when you get there, when you post, for example, a memo that was meant to communicate to the students, you'll be able to read the feedback of what the students say concerning the same, and then next time you now understand and can identify what to correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
as a former Congress, wouldn't you have advised on this idea that you have right now to the previous regime? Or you just kept it till your time, so on the event you don't become it lapses?
I know, you know, the things develop with the time. I want to say that I had this idea, but I had this idea and I shared it out. Whether or not it was implemented, it's a case for another day. But if it so happens that I do not get there, the person who will get there is right here with me. So they'll implement it. Thank you.
So who is this person?
In the unfortunate scenario and unlikely scenario that I do not get there, either of my two friends will. Thank you.
Okay, you don't. Okay, it's fine, Mr. Simon Deritu. Mr. Okalia is wishing all of you well, and Mr. Simon Deritu, you've served as a chair in the Egerton University Vet Med Student Association, and right close to you is Mr. Collins Kipchukoech, who has served as the Secretary General of the same association. Don't he have some, maybe let me say, courage in you that he has to stand against you? What didn't you deliver there?
Thank you very much. I want to state that I have not just been a chairperson. I have also served as a Secretary General of the same association and a class rep as well. Thank you very much for the question. One thing I want to say is that people are different, and we hail from different places, and we have got different ambitions. We have different
goals.
What
are some of these things that you left hanging or pending that you didn't take, that maybe they see that they shouldn't, he should stand against you?
Thank you very much. It is very important for you to note that he has not desired to go to be the chairperson of Egerton Vendor Student Association. He has desired to be the Secretary General of EUSA. And therefore, that one is a good indicator that he feels that at the faculty level, I put everything at a good ground. That is why we are competing at a higher level. Thank you.
Okay, it's okay anyway. Still on you, Mr. Nderitu, can you provide some of the things that you feel while you are serving as the Vet Med Association, maybe the incoming chair should focus on, that you think didn't happen?
Thank you very much. I want to say that my journey with the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Surgery has been a very long journey, and we have been able to move our association from almost bankrupt association to one of the most financially stable association under my regime. And what I think is that we need now to propel the same gospel to the whole of the EUSA leadership, because some of the things that we were able to achieve is that I was able to collaborate with very many NGOs.
My question was, what were you not able to achieve during your tenure?
Okay, what I didn't complete is that I was in the process of inviting many NGOs, and the process are underway, and therefore I think the incoming chair will just continue through the same the route. Yeah.
So you failed in that?
I didn't fail, is that you cannot invite, we have over 30 organizations, you cannot invite them on a single day. We usually have a session every afternoon, and therefore we have one every afternoon.
Okay,
thank you.
It's ironical, the next chair will invite all the 30 in a single day. Mr. Collins, on you, can you provide an example of a duty you performed, specifying that you won a proposal award, and how did you do maybe to help you get to university students with the award?
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Balozi. But let me go to Simon Diritu, my friend here.
How did you help the get to university students?
Okay. So what I will do...
what you did?
Or what I did. So majorly what you need to understand is that under the procedural steps of trying to acquire a grant, there are a lot of steps that need to be followed. And the first step is majorly the proposal writing. Before the proposal writing is to identify the funding organization first. Then after that, you go to the proposal writing as well.
Mr. Collins, procedure section 159, Article 159, Section 2C of the Kenyan Constitution stipulates that procedural technicality can never override substantive justice. My question is, how did you help the students when you got the award?
Okay, when I got the award, this procedure, the whole research itself was really involving. So I get to identify some few students who did, because nobody was at school during that time I was doing the research. So I got to identify some few students as well, and at least they benefited from the grant itself. Over the time, I would go and purchase the sample material, that was the chicken, from the areas within Joro sub-county. And it really benefited the students because most of them also came and assisted me during the slaughtering. And also I would also at least appreciate them with something after doing the whole procedure also of eviscerating the chicken as well, and also extracting the kill bone. That was really of great importance. And also I think that is just what really happened.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Okal, leadership basically requires a balance between representing diverse student voices and making tough decisions. Can you share a time when you had you had to navigate conflicting interests, and how did you manage to maintain fairness?
Thank you. Now, leadership normally, especially in such like associations and organizations, people have varied interests. And just like you've said to my friends here, you realize both of them at one point, one was a chair and the other was their secretary general. Now they are running for the same position in a different association. And that now tells you that there were ideological differences among them. In my term of service in the previous positions, ideological differences has been my main challenge. And the only way I've handled it is by learning to cope with people, learning to live with people's different needs and ideas and views of things, and probably appreciating them also.
What were these challenges that you faced?
I will not go. The challenges were, I have said the main one is ideological differences. You get to get out of terms with people and such like. Yes.
You have given an example of the two contestants. Did you come in between them, maybe to arbitrate or something of that kind?
They have no disagreement, so they do not need arbitration. They just have an ideological difference in terms of probably they are chasing the same goal. So there is no distinct kind of disagreements between them. I believe they are friends. I've seen them together a number of times. Yeah.
Okay, my viewers, thank you for staying with us in the Youth and Leadership, and the discussion goes for a break. Don't go far, we'll be back.
We hustle.
We go through.
Access granted.
We win.
We lose.
Access denied. Access denied. Access denied.
In everything, we dust ourselves.
We are the majority.
You want to tell me just what we're dealing with here?
If you haven't guessed by now, I'll tell you who we are.
It's me. Hi.
We are the empowered youth.
On air, underground.
And this is our podcast, the EUI Podcast.
Turn it up. Let the speakers boom. Go.
Coilib for my business has really been a point of growth because I've seen my business move from one point to another. And with Coilib, you get to understand the business aspect of it and how to make money.
Coilib Incuba. Innovate, invest, incubate.
We hustle.
We go through.
Access granted.
We win.
We lose.
Access denied. Access denied. Access denied.
In everything, we dust ourselves.
We are the majority.
You want to tell me just what we're dealing with here?
If you haven't guessed by now, I'll tell you who we are.
It's me. Hi.
We are the empowered youth.
On air, underground.
And this is our podcast, the EUI Podcast.
Turn it up. Let the speakers move. Go.
Coilib for my business has really been a point of growth because I've seen my business move from one point to another. And with Coilib, you get to understand the business aspect of it and how to make money.
Coilib Incuba. Innovate, invest, incubate.
We hustle.
We go through.
Access granted.
We win.
We lose.
Access denied. Access denied. Access denied.
In everything, we dust ourselves.
We are the majority.
You want to tell me just what we're dealing with here?
If you haven't guessed by now, I'll tell you who we are.
It's me. Hi.
We are the empowered youth.
On air, underground.
And this is our podcast, the EUI Podcast.
Turn it up. Let the speakers move. Go.
We hustle.
We go through.
Access granted.
We win.
We lose.
Access denied. Access denied. Access denied.
In everything, we dust ourselves.
We are the majority.
You want to tell me just what we're dealing with here?
If you haven't guessed by now, I'll tell you who we are.
It's me. Hi.
We are the empowered youth.
On air, underground.
And this is our podcast, the EUI Podcast.
Turn it up. Let the speakers move. Go.
We hustle.
We go through.
Access granted.
We win.
We lose.
Access denied. Access denied. Access denied.
In everything, we dust ourselves.
We are the majority.
You want to tell me just what we're dealing with here?
If you haven't guessed by now, I'll tell you who we are.
It's me. Hi.
We are the empowered youth.
On air, underground.
And this is our podcast, the EUI podcast.
Turn it up. Let the speakers boom. Go.
Alright, welcome back to the second segment of this session. My name is Marvin Davis and I'll be taking you through the last segment. Well, gentlemen, we've had all the views that we've shared. They are quite a number and very good ones. But there are questions that also arises from the population and the student body. And I want some few clarity for the purposes of, you also sharing your views with regard to what is aired out in those platforms. And I'll start with you, Simon. The whole process is going to involve the delegate system. What is your views and how can you critique or maybe suggest ways of improving that approach with regards to the student elections?
Thank you very much, Mr. Marvin. I think my view towards the delegate system is that it is actually not the best system of voting in the leaders of an institution, because sometimes it turns away from allowing students to express themselves into a game of the mind. And there are some people there are some incompetent leaders who are able to pass through the CF through the delegate system because now it involves a game of the mind here and there. And therefore it differentiates the students of their rights to express themselves on one by one through the secret ballot by the students. And therefore, again, if we were not to do away with the delegate system, I think we would also need an improvement whereby even just that the 3 delegates are required to vote online for the SGC, and yet when I listen to the argument of why we are voting online, it is to save the cost. I don't see what kind of cost or how much we can save by just allowing the 3 delegates to vote through the secret ballot. So that's the improvement that we want.
Amazing, amazing. I'd also like to pass that same question to Collins and maybe put emphasis on the approach that would take, given a position whereby you would change the policies that go with the delegate system.
Okay. Let me just start by saying, there are advantages and disadvantages to the delegate system that was enacted earlier on before I was even in this school, to be precise. But when we get into the consideration of where I assume the position of the Secretary General, there are a lot of actions that needs to be taken. But also there are a lot of considerations that needs to be put across as well. Delegate system is not the best system, yes, I don't disagree with that. But we get to understand as well how long will this procedure take. And also based on it, we need to go back to earlier on before the delegate system. How was everything going on before that? And if we get to go deeper into that, then we can get to understand the reason why delegate system was brought into action.
Amazing. I saved Alvin for the last part because you had mentioned something to do with the EUSA kitty and the project acquisition process that involves the whole process of delegate system. Because after elections, there's always this ideology that we've gone through the delegate system, and so when you people get into leadership, you assume or maybe forget the whole thing that had taken place, because the whole idea is when you get in your first meeting where you people sit for the budgeting process, there are always debates that occur there. There are always disagreement and conflict that always arise. And you find out that people that have been elected, those who managed to get into power, they kind of resort to, they are trying to, recover from what the delegates took them through. So my question to you, are you guys prepared? Are you as an individual prepared for the delegate system now that it is something that is actually there? And how are you prepared to approach it?
First of all, allow me say yes, I am prepared. Secondly, the delegate system was enacted into law by an act of parliament back, I think, in the year 2016. And in my own view, it's a good system of election. It's a self-inclusive. In a way, there is a way that there is an idea that there is a way in which everyone's idea is expressed in the ballot, but indirectly. But if I were to make recommendations, I would recommend that it be increased, that the number of delegates be increased from 3 probably to a greater number, and taking into consideration the population that these people are representing. Then thirdly, I want to talk about the budget that you've talked about now. Let's just to understand the procedure. Once EUSA elections have been conducted, constitutionally the Student Governing Council, in which I have never sat, is supposed to sit and draft a budget. Then in the first parliamentary sitting, which now the Congress has come in, the Director of Finance is supposed to read out that budget, and the Congresses shall then vote it, shall then accept it or reject it. Then thirdly, the fourth item, I believe this money is usually spent in the right way, because I look at the procedure by which the money has to be acquired, the procedure by which the money has to be got, because now EUSA has no bank account. So you cannot go there, you cannot go to any bank and put my own signature and say I want this amount. It's a no. EUSA, usually for you to acquire the funds, the Director of Finance has to write a requisition which requires the signature of both the Director of Finance, the Secretary General, and the Chair. Then they pass the budget through the Assistant Dean of Students. Then the Assistant Dean of Students forwards it to the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of Administration, Finance, and Planning, who will then, he forwards the Deputy Dean of Students forwards it to the Chief Finance Officer, who will then forward the same to the Deputy Vice Chancellor. So I'm looking at this procedure, and I believe it's impossible to recover your funds through this procedure. So you have to follow the way. In my own view, there is no way these finances can be misappropriated. Thank you.
Amazing. Let me just pause you there before you give the mic to the other person. The question of signatories, I think you need to clarify, because I think you've been the most vocal about signatories. What situation do you find yourself as a Secretary General in the case that you become one? What situation do you find yourself to be a signatory on most of those documentations? Are you a signatory with the purpose of being a Sec Gen, or maybe under certain situation or circumstances?
I find myself as a signatory because it is my responsibility.
And that is in the Constitution?
It is in the Constitution.
Amazing. I think we'll leave that for the audiences and students to decide. Let me take you back, and this question I think all of you are going to answer. There's this idea of, at the end of the day, we'll have one person that will be leading the elections. I mean, one person will have to win, and the rest will have to follow. How are you going to approach that? Because for my personal and the others, we actually believe that leadership is all about collaboration, because I've seen you people have great ideas. Deretu, you've been somebody that has worked as a chairperson of your association together with Collins. You've also been the chair of your organization under your faculty. What approach are you going to take in the event that one of you gets to win that position in terms of collaboration or airing out your leadership aspects? Just for clarity purposes, would you go for the situation of collaborating or not? Simon.
Thank you very much. What I would say in terms of the current system, whereby the person who gathers more votes is the one who becomes the winner and assumes office in that particular docket. But I would think once you see these, my friends, presenting themselves for this position, it means that each and every one of them has got that one idea that he wants to add to EUSA. And therefore, I think it is important that whoever takes it home to call the rest on a table to have a discussion and try to exchange the ideas for the benefit of the whole of the EUSA body. Thank you.
Amazing. Let us hear from Collins.
Thank you so much, Marvin. What I know is, as always, nobody's always ready to lose, right? But ever since these the commitments about the EUSA elections have started, I've always told my good friend here, Simon, that let not these elections kill the friendship that we've been having since the day I got to this school. And what I do understand is that whoever wins, and I'm always like, may the best man win. And I'm really ready to support the person, but I'm also really waiting for you to give me your support as well. Thank you.
Amazing. Carl, you can also share your views.
I would share with them my opinions and ideas, just like I have done before. I would give them my ideas and ask them to implement if they deem them right for their term in office. Thank you.
Amazing. As we also prepare to conclude, I would also maybe put across the same question to all of you. And the question goes, in the event that you people get to office, what actually are you planning to do different with regards to the manifestos that you have? What is that one thing that you want to, at the end of the day, at the end of your tenure, is something that you actually are proud of in the event that you get into office? I'll start with Carl and then we go to Simon.
A reference to what I have mentioned before, EUSA has been good enough ever since I have been here, but it has lacked a feedback mechanism. So I would implement a feedback mechanism in EUSA. That would be my greatest. That is intended to be my greatest achievement in EUSA. Yes, thank you.
Just to hold you, this feedback mechanism, does it involve the online platforms that you're talking about?
We definitely have to go the online way. Yeah, thank you.
With regards to that, not to mean any harm to you, but with regards to the information that is out there, because I think there's a comment that has been placed out there, and they're saying there's already one platform that is actually working, and the EUSA Council. I don't know whether it's Instagram account. Are you aware of that?
No, because it is not official.
Okay, amazing. Let me go to Collins.
I think for me, what I would like to do, first of all, I'd like to congratulate the outgoing Secretary General. He's done some great work that at least needs to be gotten and appreciated as well. So what I would like to do as well, I would like to bring about the minds of innovativeness within the students of Egerton University.
And what approach are you going to take with that?
The approach I'm going to take with that, as I had earlier mentioned about, is to create the micro committees within each faculties to bring about the innovativeness, and also engage students to join innovative clubs. Like I've told you before, we have the Enactors Club within Egerton University as well.
Okay, amazing. Let me just pause you again. You mentioned something to do with academics, that you are so much interested into academics. What is the reason behind you deciding to take Secretary General position rather than the Director Academics?
Okay, the reason is, well, as for me, I think I'm kind of vocal to the people. That is the organization or the students as well. And I deem myself best to be in this position rather than not the Director Academics.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Simon?
So thank you very much. In the event that I would assume the office of the Secretary General, there are some things that I would really want to leave in praise. And, you know, the Secretary General is the one who carries the face of the university, because he's the one who will be representing even the students in the external affairs. And therefore, I would like to propel a gospel that I have started at the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Surgery. Since its inception, I was the first person to bring the body, the Kenya Veterinary Association, in praise, and very many professional related bodies to the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine and Surgery. And that one has created enough platforms for our students who are easily able to secure jobs. And therefore, we want to propagate the same gospel to other student organizations and other programs and other faculties to make sure that they are well connected to their professional bodies. Secondly, I also want to seal this gap that is always there between EUSA and the CRAS lab. By bringing them together, giving them what is right for the years, like giving them an annual general meeting, listening to them, and getting views from them. In line with that, I think I was the only Congress, if I'm not wrong, who took my class reps to dinner when I assumed office, so that we were able to sit down and deliberated on the way forward to propel our faculty. Thank you.
Amazing. I'll have to pause you and ask one question with regards to what you said. on that aspect of, the professional organization that you brought on board when you are serving as the chairperson of the faculty association, how difficult was it, and how prepared are you to scaling it up into the EUSA organization?
It is actually not something that is difficult. It is people who actually maybe don't think about it, or they fear about it, because those professional bodies, I found them very willing to connect with their student members, and it is not an easy thing to prepare to the other faculties, and I'm really ready to do that and have the skills. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. So in 2 minutes, I'm going to give each of you an opportunity, 2 minutes each, to finalize and also talk about your leadership aspect and the aspirations, with regards to the student leadership and what you have for the future with regards to your personal development. Because at the end of the day, we see what you give the student and what you give yourself. So I'm going to start with Collins. You tell us your aspirations and what you have for the future and what actually your plans, so that I conclude. It's okay.
Thank you so much. Well, as for me, my aspirations is to make Egerton University great again. I'm not saying it's not great, it is great, but to make it more great. Yeah, and also another thing as well is to bring about the level of humbleness within our leaders as well. We should really be humble enough to get into interacting with our colleagues or our members as well. Then my advice to those people who are voting as well, to the faculty levels, your decision is going to make a decision to who your SGC is going to be. So make right decisions and be wise. Yeah, thank you.
And aside from the student leadership, that is campus politics, are you having any future aspirations outside the campus?
Yeah, of course I do. My aspiration has always been to be a member of parliament and also maybe the cabinet secretary under the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries as well, because that's where my docket is. And based on this, it's going to be awesome. Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you.
Alvin.
I'll only need one. Thank you. Now, when I began, I said my drive here has been because of passion. I've been driven by passion towards whom I am as at the moment. So if I get this opportunity to serve as the Secretary General, one, I want to bring unity among EUSA. EUSA people have seen it as the leadership, beginning from the congresses till the SGC and to the chairperson. But we need to get to a point where we appreciate that EUSA begins with us. As defined in Article 5 of the EUSA Constitution, we get to know the definition of a member of EUSA. And then we get to know the EUSA leadership. EUSA leadership begins from the class representatives. So if I get this opportunity, I would begin by first of all uniting the leadership and then getting the members of EUSA to appreciate the roles of EUSA. And obviously I would want to use the small clubs and associations that we have at faculty level or at probably interest level. Some people are interested in different things. Say for example, we have Egerton Premier League for those who are good at football. So I would want to use those clubs, those associations, those organizations that we already have to kind of bring students together and to appreciate the welfare of students. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for that, and I wish you all the best. Let me listen to Simon, kindly.
So thank you very much. And for me, I have an ambition to make EUSA work. I have landed into organization and association that we are not working, and I left them working, and therefore I know that this is really possible. So that can only be done through unity, through funds mobilization, and other things. And therefore, in line with that, I also have an ambition in future, and I want to take my skills and expertise also to make our professional bodies work, and also I have an ambition of becoming a member of parliament of Nyeri Town constituency very soon. Thank you very much.
Amazing. I wish you all the best, and I wish each of you the very best. And at the end of the day, I hope people will work together. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this segment. We will conclude after this break.
We hustle.
We go through.
Access granted.
We win.
We lose.
Access denied. Access denied. Access denied.
In everything, we dust ourselves.
We are the majority.
You wanna tell me just what we're dealing with here?
If you haven't guessed by now, I'll tell you who we are.
It's me. Hi.
We are the empowered youth.
On air, underground.
And this is our podcast, the EUI podcast.
Turn it up. Let the speakers boom. Go.
Once again, we're back from our commercial break, and ladies and gentlemen, our audiences, we really appreciate for your feedback, and that was the feedback segment. And now, to my guests, Mr. Alvin Okal, once again, Karibu and Asante for making time. Mr. Collins, Asante for making time. Mr. Nderitu, Asante for making time. Thank you for joining us today and sharing your insights. And it's clear, and I believe that the issues we've discussed here is for the better future and for the better of our institution. All the best, gentlemen. All the best, and may the best candidate win. With that, I know we'll meet here again sometime next week. And karibu tena. For our audience, thank you for sharing with us your insights, and thank you for being with us. This was Youth and Leadership. Thank you. Till next time.
We hustle.
We go through.
Access granted.
We win.
We lose.
Access denied. Access denied. Access denied.
In everything, we dust ourselves.
We are the majority.
You wanna tell me just what we're dealing with here?
If you haven't guessed by now, I'll tell you who we are.
It's me. Hi.
We are the empowered youth.
On air, underground.
And this is our podcast, the EUI podcast.
Turn it up. Let the speakers boom.